From relaunch nights that looked like redemption
Michon, thank you, Michon. Thank you.
to review pages that sank even lower after Gordon Ramsay left, here's what happened to the restaurants that actually lost ratings after Gordon Ramsay tried to save them. Starting with Mangia. Located in Woodland Park, Colorado, Mangia was housed in a former fast food building. The owner, Julie Watson, bought the building because she wanted to own a restaurant, not because she knew how to run one. She had no real experience in the kitchen, and the Italian concept came from opportunity rather than passion.
I opened an Italian restaurant because people in Woodland Park said there's no Italian, open an Italian restaurant, and so I opened an Italian restaurant.
From the start, nothing matched. The place still had a drive-through window, a dead giveaway that it had no clear direction, and the inside was just as confusing too.
I'm good.
Excellent. So what was the plan in opening this place? Because it looks like a chain restaurant. I don't see anything Italian in here whatsoever.
However, in the kitchen, things were even worse. The head chef was a 22-year-old former dishwasher with no training, and this was the result of his best attempt at making pasta dough.
Yeah, that is too much oil in there.
Gordon also found an insane amount of pre-cooked pasta stuffed into the walk-in fridge, all meant for fewer than 50 customers, while it clearly looked like it could serve an entire event.
Do you have any idea what's going on behind here?
This will be used today.
Enough pasta for close to 400 portions on this table here. And we've got how many customers tonight? 53.
47.
47.
But Gordon still pushed forward, rebuilding the menu around fresh Italian dishes, firing the head chef, and bringing in a new chef to retain the kitchen.
Now that Trevor's gone, I did make some calls, and I have found a chef, okay? Someone to lead your kitchen. I'd like you to meet Dunworth. How are you, buddy?
With new decor in place too, Julie was thrilled. But not long after the episode aired, customer reviews were already mixed. One person said, "Pre-Ramsay was much better. Chicken parm was dry, thin, and inedible. Even the waitress was surprised." It sounded hard to believe at first, but Julie's own replies to unhappy customers told a different story. By November 2013, only 3 months after filming, she was already responding publicly to criticism, saying, "Sorry you had a bad experience. We've changed the chicken parmesan back to the way we had it before. I think you're confusing the price. Again, I'm sorry. It just took a bit to get everything to where we found would work, blending the new menu with the old." Anyone who follows the show closely knows this strategy often leads to inconsistency in the kitchen, and the ratings reflected it as they slipped from around 3 stars. Mangia shut its doors in November 2014, just 5 months after the episode aired. The building was eventually taken over by Jimmy John's, which still operates today. Mangia showed that a Gordon Ramsay makeover doesn't guarantee better reviews, and the next restaurant found that out the hard way. Casaroma opened in 1958 and sat in Lancaster for decades. By the time Gordon Ramsay arrived in 2008, that history was the only thing still standing.
Casaroma, since 1958. This restaurant's nearly 50 years old, and by looking at the sign, it shows.
The owners, Nyla Christian and her son Jeremy, bought it without any restaurant background, and it showed, since the place functioned more like a loud bar with a lifeless restaurant attached.
My bar does all my business. It's like 2 different countries. Our bar is always packed and the restaurant sits empty.
This meant sloppy operations, and to make things worse, the kitchen was in horrible condition.
Jesus Christ almighty. Oh, God.
The kitchen also went through nearly 20 chefs in 2.5 years. What remained was a head chef who took smoke breaks during service while diners waited over an hour. All these made it clear why customers were not coming back, but Gordon still pushed to rework the idea. He introduced a simple pizza menu that both the staff and owners agreed was a huge improvement.
I like this one.
Good. Jeremy, big one as well? Yeah. I'm so glad you chose that one there, yeah?
Next, Gordon's team opened up the block windows, stripped out the old carpets, and refreshed the entire space. By the end of the overhaul, the decor was a clear improvement.
The booths have gone. Chairs relined. New colours.
At first, the makeover worked, business boomed, and even the kitchen stayed clean during a later check-in.
How's business?
Business is good. We're doing good. Yep.
Bloody hell.
Everything's fresh.
My God. And look how organized it is.
But old habits soon returned. After Gordon Ramsay's revisit, the menu slipped back to its old form. The bar took over again, families stopped coming, and online reviews took notice. One person said, "I thought with Chef Ramsay's visit, things would get better, but I was wrong. It took about 1 hour to get our mediocre food, and the waitress never bothered to check in with us to see how everything was. I also asked if the lasagna was made fresh, and she mentioned it's pre-made the night before." Yelp reviews sank to a low 2.1 rating. Casaroma eventually closed for good in 2017, and the building later became an entertainment venue called Garibaldi around 2022. Sometimes a fresh start isn't enough when years of issues have piled up, something that the next restaurant story proved. Leela's Kitchen opened in Pomona with big plans and almost no time to figure them out. It had been open only 8 months when Gordon Ramsay walked in, but even in that short period of time, the money was already gone.
I'm definitely losing money right now. I took all my retirement money, everything I had saved, everything, and decided to open this restaurant. I have nothing left.
It wasn't hard to see why. The place called itself fine dining, but the basics were missing.
Menu spelt incorrectly all over the place.
How's everything?
It tastes like it's canned.
Yeah.
So it says homemade soup on the menu, and it's bought in. Is there any main course that's on the fine dining menu that's not frozen?
Sad to say, but no.
As if that wasn't bad enough, there were even bigger problems.
A fridge that's not even cold. This is not a refrigeration unit. This is almost like an oven. Nothing freshly made in this fridge. Fucking hell. Christ. It fucking stinks.
And to that, staff issues made things worse. A prep cook was even caught stealing food and wine.
You're talking out your yeah. No, you're not okay? This lady owns it.
Buzzard.
These showed just how little control Leela had. She wanted the place to feel upscale, but nothing behind the scenes supported that goal. To fix the problem, Gordon stripped the concept back, shrinking the menu and refocusing it on casual local dishes.
We have a new Pomona salad. A salad that is in keeping with the area. It's fresh, it's new, it's vibrant. Tonight, we're going to do a special. Leela's famous burger, yes, will be the best burger in Pomona.
To get people back in the door, the staff also handed out free samples from a catering truck.
Free burger?
Free burger!
All right.
So how was it?
I tapped it.
Nice. Would you like another one?
I'm gonna get another.
Inside, the room was softened with warmer lighting, candles, and simple seating. Everything seemed to fall into place. Leela was grateful, the team was relieved, and the restaurant finally worked on screen. However, that momentum didn't last. The systems Gordon put in place needed steady leadership, and Leela lacked the experience to keep them running. As a result, the debt never eased, and within a few months, things turned dire.
In spite of business picking up at the restaurant, Leela's debts were too large to overcome, and she was forced to close her doors.
By the time the restaurant closed, its Yelp page showed a 1.4-star rating. Complaints centered on poor food and uneven service. As one former customer wrote, "Not surprised it's closed. The food was awful, obviously not fresh, and not worth the inflated prices. Any claim of fine dining was wishful thinking. When I sent my dish back to get warmed up after receiving it cold, there was a barrage of bad language coming from the so-called chef. Ultimately, the owner/manager is responsible for the staff, and judging from the foul-mouthed chef, the owner is not the one in charge." In the end, Leela's Kitchen barely lasted 5 months after filming, closing before the episode even aired. Even when the right changes seem to be made, keeping a restaurant on track takes more than a quick fix. Meanwhile, the next spot struggled to hold on to the progress it briefly found. Michon's got off to a strong start in College Park, Georgia, opening in 2002 by Al Wilson, who knew barbecue inside and out. The food was fresh, the smokers were top tier, and the place actually made money. But that changed when Al's health failed. A collapsed lung forced him to step away, which pushed control to his daughter, Natalie. However, that handoff changed everything.
A lot of things have gone downhill in the kitchen since Al has been out.
Natalie ran the place from a distance. She stayed in the office and avoided the kitchen and dining room, which is not something the owner is supposed to do.
You never see Natalie in the kitchen. You may see her in passing, or maybe if she's hungry.
In the absence of daily supervision, shortcuts took over, with meat cooked days ahead, bagged, and microwaved before serving. And when Gordon Ramsay walked in, he saw the leadership problem immediately before anything else.
Your main role in day-to-day business?
The human resources, HR.
Wow.
So I do payroll and different things like that.
So you're not really functioning in the restaurant?
Then, during service, he inspected the kitchen and discovered the food quality was just as poor.
The bone's dry. What's with all the bag stuff?
They portion everything and put it in bags.
It's just madness. You're not even cooking, you're just reheating.
To improve things, Ramsay focused on control and standards, starting by trimming the menu to highlight freshly smoked meats. Then, a barbecue expert was brought in for a full month to retrain the team.
He's an expert in barbecue. He's been trained under Tom Colicchio. I've arranged for him to be with you for the next month.
Great.
What do you think of the smokers back there?
They're brilliant.
During the relaunch, things held steady. Natalie stayed engaged, service flowed, and the kitchen stuck to the new system.
Very vocal, very visual, communicating with us.
Is this coming out now?
This is complete. Then take it.
Michon.
Michon, thank you, Michon.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm amazed.
On camera, it seemed like a reset honoring Al's legacy, but by the time the episode aired, the tone had shifted. Reviews were soon filled with complaints, with some saying, "One of the worst barbecue places I've ever been to. I had the chicken, it was very dry and tough. It wasn't even hot. My friends got the French dip, and it was awful too." Another said, "Recently I was at an event that served Michon smoked wings. They were horrible. The wings were not clean and had feathers and hair still on them. I was so disappointed because they used to be one of my favorite places for smoked wings." Yelp ratings at the downtown location dropped to about 2.4 stars as complaints focused on the same issues Gordon tried to fix. The restaurant remained open until 2015, after which the space was taken over by new businesses and the name quietly faded away, proving that even the best kitchens can fall apart when leadership steps away, much like this next restaurant, whose quality slipped without hands-on management. Anna Vincenzo's opened in Boca Raton in 2001 with a big safety net.
My father gave me over $300,000 to open up Anna Vincenzo's. My father's been in the restaurant business since before I was born, and I've always been around the kitchen since I was a baby.
But by 2006, the numbers were upside down.
As of right now, I'm in debt about $190,000 to my father.
Business had been slipping for years, and the pressure took a toll on Cece. She threatened to quit during service and talked about closing on bad nights, and the staff dealt with mood swings and yelling.
Here's your Tell everybody to fucking go home. I'm shutting the place down.
The food issues were obvious from the menu alone, which ran 5 pages long. Unsurprisingly, customers complain about the food.
Are unhappy with what they received.
The meal has no flavor at all.
Gordon intervened and made sure that the dining room was redone with lighter colors and new tableware. Then the menu was cut down and rebuilt around fresh cooking.
The menu has gone down by half.
It looks bad.
Why? So you can keep the cost down and the freshness up.
Luckily, relaunch night went well, with Cece paying attention for once when Gordon warned her about sending out burnt food.
It's done like that. Just send it out. Just send it out.
It looks black from here. I know it's hard. You do not have to send it out.
Make another one now.
Thank you.
Once filming wrapped, the changes quickly faded. In fact, Yelp reviews from 2009, before Gordon's arrival, were far more positive, filled with 4- and 5-star ratings. After the makeover, however, the story was very different, as reviews took a noticeable downturn. One person said, "Saw this restaurant featured on Kitchen Nightmares. I can definitely understand why it was chosen to be overhauled. Even after the complete makeover, the food still left much to be desired. Basil on pizza was wilted, and I've definitely had better." Another person said, "I saw Anna Vincenzo's on Kitchen Nightmares and was greatly amused, as I tried the restaurant again recently and found the food horrible. Their kitchen and veal dishes was super bland and extremely pricey. The appetizers tasted frozen and microwave. Try at your own peril." The restaurant's Yelp rating settled around 2.9 stars during that stretch. When Gordon returned sometime after, he discovered that Anna Vincenzo's was no longer in business. Makeovers are great, but they don't pay the bills or fix everything overnight. However, the restaurant next door is a spot where the glow-up didn't quite stick. Jake Constantinidis ran El Greco with his mother, Athena, backing the business. But with nearly all her savings on the line, things were falling apart.
I put up everything, whatever I had, all of my money. This restaurant, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna be in the streets.
Things felt off during service, with Jake looking worn down.
Jake is a big reason why everything is screwed up. In the last year, I would say it's really turned around to be pretty disappointing.
You freaking abandoned us again.
I'm not
spending as much time as I used to in the restaurant. I'm just tired of coming into work knowing that I got to deal with my mother.
With energy low and Jake visibly tired, it was no surprise that the food didn't meet Gordon's expectations.
That is way too salty and badly balanced. Justin? I mean, so salty.
First, Gordon had the whole space redone overnight with brighter colors and Greek touches. Then the menu was rebuilt around fresh lamb, octopus, and moussaka. With all that, the relaunch felt hopeful as guests enjoyed the food, and for a moment, the tension eased.
Everybody had smiled to their face. Everybody in the dining room. Happy?
Oh, very.
The tickets took a little bit time.
However, that hope was short-lived. Online reviews quickly turned negative, with early praise giving way to complaints about overpriced food and long waits. One comment with a 2-star review said, "I visited El Greco on Wednesday night and was quite disappointed. I'd been here before the Kitchen Nightmares TV shoot and the place was much better. Better menu options, cheaper prices, etc. The food quality was okay, not great. Service was fine, nothing outstanding or amazing." Another person said, "If I could take stars away from El Greco's other reviews, I would send them all back into the skies. I was disgusted beyond belief today when I watched the chef carve the meat off the lamb chops, cut the meat into small pieces, pop a piece of meat into his mouth with his bare fingers, then scoop the rest up with the same filthy fingers that had touched his mouth." By December 2011, El Greco had shut down, with its Yelp page stuck at 2.7 stars while the location transitioned to new tenants. Sometimes the front of the house shines, but the kitchen tells a very different tale. The next spot had charm, but the food, not so much. Mill Street Beastro sat in Norwalk, Ohio, and the owner, Joe Nagy, treated it like a private fine dining club.
Who do you think you're talking to? This is the finest of the finest. Our food is the best by far.
Even Gordon was impressed when he walked in, which isn't something you see every day.
Gorgeous place.
Yes, thank you.
Look at this.
Ready to sit?
It's stunning. Yeah, very. Thank you.
Follow me, please.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, that was about the only positive. The kitchen told a very different story. During his inspection, Gordon found that Joe's promises of fresh, high-quality food didn't hold up.
My gosh, frozen food that's been frozen since 2009, 3 years ago, used by 2010. Frozen blue cheese. Why would you freeze blue cheese? Farm to table, it's not.
Additionally, the way Joe ran the kitchen made things worse.
Get the ice, cool it down.
He talks down to people.
Is there enough bread for dinner right now, or do you want me to do that part of the thinking too?
He makes it very unbearable to even be here.
The way you treat me is disrespectful, crude.
Then you need to find another place to work.
One way or another, Gordon turned things around with a new menu.
Tonight's specials. Local. Fresh. Delicious. Walleye. And there we have a classic burger.
And the smartest move of all, removing Joe from the kitchen.
I came to the consensus with Joe. There's no way on earth, from this day on, that he can continue to be in that kitchen.
Gordon didn't change the decor, but to ensure kitchen quality, he brought in a consulting chef to manage the kitchen.
I came up with one very talented young man that's going to make a huge impact on your kitchen and really help kickstart this business off. Say good morning to Brian Goodman. Chef.
All right.
Unfortunately, this progress didn't last. Multiple sources reported that the head chef and several waitstaff resigned within months of filming wrapping up. After filming in June 2012, the Mill Street Bistro was rebranded as Maple City Tavern more than a year later, in December 2013, probably to start fresh and bring in new customers. But changing the name didn't reset the reviews. Yelp quickly filled with 1-star ratings as customers complained about bland food and high prices. One comment said, "One thing I despise is dishonesty in the business field. What a disgrace. Selling cheap products as high quality? Come on. You can taste the cheapness in the food, period. Highly do not recommend this place. Take your money and put a few gallons of gas in your vehicle and drive a little further down. And I'm pretty sure you can find a better, decent place to eat and get your money's worth." In 2016, just 2 years after becoming the tavern, the restaurant closed permanently, and the building was later sold for $140,000.